Hello everyone, welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade. Um, it's pretty much, I believe, Saturday. Anyways, this is kind of like a weekend edition of Bitcoin Trade here, and this is just a chart analysis. So, last time I spoke, it looked like the price was going to break up, as you see right here, and this is Bitfin on a 12 hour. Okay. Now you notice I haven't done any lines in the last episodes because eventually, um, you can draw your own lines and do your own thing, but um, after you've been trading for quite a bit, um, you can look at uh, a chart analysis and kind of tell where the price is going, and with a few clues of the spreads and the price of the different exchanges, that can also help you get an idea of at least a short term, very very short near term, what the price action might be or where it's headed. But looking at the overall um trend here, you can say it's obviously been a downtrend, hindsight 2020. Um, but in my previous episode, I mentioned how 300 looks like it's the floor. If you're able to also understand how to read the candlesticks, and also just from my experience with talking to other miners, um, where their floor pricing is. Okay, so their floor pricing is, I've been told 300. That was quite a few months ago, so I'm assuming it's probably higher than that. Um, but anyways, as you see from my last previous episode, it I told you that it might break through, and at the time, this red candlestick right here in particular, and let's zoom in now because I want to focus on some recent activity here. Okay, there we go. You could hopefully you could all see that a lot better now. Let's just really take a look. Okay, so it's been a steady, good climb, and it's a really good, uh, solid push upward with this green candlestick right here, and it did finish above, unlike some of the other ones where it went above but never finished above this estimated moving average here. And so it's a weighted average, is 25 period probably, and a 10 period. And so, it's been slowly, gradually working its way back up. Now, once it hit up, in my previous episode, I mentioned how this was all green and it looked like it was really gonna, finish above. But it's important to wait until the candlestick is finished, not during, because you can easily get caught up in a false signal. So there's false signals, and you have to recognize what false signals are. That's why it's important to wait until you see the candlestick finish, and maybe even one, two, three more candlesticks. And this is a 12-hour period. So a big part about trading, especially on exchanges or any excuse me, or any exchange, is to be patient. And so if you all bought in while this was green and above, you bought in on a false price signal. Okay, now you gotta, so patience is the game. You gotta let it finish, and then it helps to actually have a consecutive amount of candlesticks to see where the trend is going, because it's a good signal that this has gone up and it's gone finished above this average. But at the same time, just that alone is not good enough. You really have to be patient to get a really good positive buying or selling signal. Okay, and so what it has done, it has reverted back down below this 25 period average. But the good news is it has not broken below the 10-period average. Matter of fact, what you're seeing here is you're seeing a rise and consolidation here. So this itself is a mini triangle going on right now. And so it's going to bounce in here, and it's going to bounce in here, and it's going to do, oh, it's obviously going to do three things: go up, go down, or go sideways. But at least I can explain to you what might happen, and hopefully this will help you in a better trade, okay? For whatever you want to do. You want to short, you want to go long, or you just want to play the range. So when I say range, I mean the range of price going up and down within a two Pacific price ranges, all right? And so right now it's gone, for the most part, is what it's done. It's hit this 25 period average, hits the 10 period average, and hits the 25 period average. So it's just bouncing within here, and you can see that that's what it's doing in the price, in the candlesticks. So what does that say? I think that says a lot of people aren't really sure of the price direction. They know that it was oversold, and that's why you see the price going back up. But they also know that it's always been hitting against this 25 period average and going back down. So the question is this trend going to start turning around, or is this trend, is this just a retracement of the overselling, and it's just going back up to just be sold off again? And so it's hard to tell, of course, because if you know anything about currency trading, currency tradings have they tend to trend, and then when they trend for a very long time. So if you pull back here, you're seeing a long trend, a long sell-off trend. Let me zoom out now. There you go. So obviously you're seeing a very long sell-off trend here, and so that's a headwind against any turnaround in price action, because this is a long trend. So there's a lot of momentum being played when you do trade. So when it was going up, the trend was to an up price, and it really went up. But vice versa, when the trends are going down, it really tends to trend down and continue to trend down. But I think there might be a really good chance of this breaking out. Now, what you might want to be careful of is it's obviously hit up against this 25 period average, and now it's bouncing off of the 10 period. And so what you're going to see is probably a scenario like, let me see, there you go, a scenario like this, or right here like this, where it's just bouncing up. Now what's going to happen next is, and this is really what you got to watch out for, and then you can get a lot of false signals, just like all these candlesticks that moved above the 25 period average ended up finishing down, and so likewise, when you see a lot of these go below this 10 period average, you think it's a selling signal, but it turns out it's going to stay above it. So right now we're in this tight range here, between the 10 and the 25, and one or two things going to happen. It's going to continue this way for a very long time, because this might be the soft, I guess you can call it a soft landing. This might be the landing of the bottom, is what's going on. So you're seeing a tight range. Now, this is where you got to be careful, because you get a lot of false signals, a lot of false selling signals, a lot of false buying signals. The way to play it is, I guess you just have to be patient, because at some point, what's going to happen is you're going to slowly see a trend, and wait for a positive signal. be wary of the false signals that you're going to be getting. So wait for a positive signal. And one of the ways you can see a positive signal is that the price eventually finishes higher than the last high. So that was the last high, it did not finish. This is now the new last high right here, although it's not higher than this. So what you're going to see is little highers and high, and it's going to just ping down into a triangle, and then it might break up, in which the last high will be a little bit lower. And so that'll be the first positive signal that you can get for a buying signal. The other option is the positive signal for it to go down in price, in which, as you see here, there's not much of a, this is the low. So for this to fall down below that, there's a big gap here. So that's another thing you got to watch out. If this is a continuation of a downtrend, you could see this falling below the 225 mark. But I don't think there's that chance of happening, just because what I mentioned last time of the 30,000 Bitcoin that was limit sell, the sell limit that was broken through on Bitstamp. So I think a lot of people obviously bought. Now they might have taken some of their gains off of here, but the fact that a lot of people broke through that, that's incredible. And I think a lot of people are maybe holding, because the price of this, you have not seen this price since, and now I'll go to Bitstamp because they got more of a better history. Let me see here. Is it Bitstamp? Okay. Oh goodness. What's going on? So we're gonna have to wait until it loads up. Well, anyways, until it loads up, what 300 was probably the price right before it started. Oh, there it goes again. Okay, put me on Bitstamp, please. There we go. Okay, so let's go on the week. I'm clicking on the week, and so if you look at where 300 is, look at that. It actually looks like pretty darn close to this high, and you see that on a 3-week basis, it's also an area where it's broken through right here when this huge uptrend surge in price started happening. So if you look at that, that was probably why you saw around 275 being the price. It could have gone probably a little bit lower, but it's close enough. And it's also where it actually broke through and raged on up all the way up to about, what, 1200 or 1100, something like that. And so there's a good chance this is a really good, excellent support, and so that's why you don't have to worry. And if you look on the, if you do go back further in time, like this is a 3-week, you'll notice that this is also where the price hits, and it's if you look at this, it's all coincidental, I guess, or you could see why maybe some price, why the price actually stopped here, because it's hitting on a 10-period average here. So if you just keep pulling back further and further, it kind of all starts making a little bit more sense on why the price action has moved there. So don't be afraid to pull back further and further to get a better perspective of what the price is doing and why the price action is doing what it's doing. So on a 3-week period on the Bitstamp here, you can see that this is, it's pretty close. Was the top of this is the support of this, and then you see that it's bounced back up, but it's hit up against this 10-period average, which if you look at this, it's been riding on this particular 10-period average. And so on a longer term, you'll see that it has not even broken through. I look more at the 12-hour term because you know, I trade every day on a 1 week. So this is a 1 week right here. On a 1 week, you have to wait a long, long time. You might wait months before you get any buying or selling signal, and so it's going to be kind of tough to actually trade. I know, but you can trade. It's just that I trade every day, so I'm looking for more of a either a daily or a 12-hour chart analysis because I trade all the time. But you can be a long-term trader. But if you pull back far enough, you'll get a better idea of what's going on. And so a couple things you can do and this is for long-term trades, or if your outlook is a little bit longer than 12 hours, if you can go to a weekly chart and wait for a buying signal. So on this particular chart, you can see that the reason why the price stopped at where it did is because it's hitting against this 10-period average, which this is what's been riding on or riding down off. That's been the resistance. And so if you look at the gap, it's probably telling you that there's a good chance that you can see some retracement from this. So overall, what you're seeing is just a little movement. If you look at this 25-period average, you'll see that it's actually averaged so far to be right where it is. So, but if this could finish green, that might be a good signal. You'll have to wait a couple more weeks to actually get a positive selling or buying signal. And so this is another way to look at it. Just pull back even further. The only issue and only problem with looking at it on such a larger time frame is you literally will have to wait weeks before you get a positive signal. So I do look at it for perspective, but I don't really trade on a longer time frame because you just have to wait such a long time before you can actually make a trade. So if I go back on the 12-hour on Bitstamp, or let's just do 3-day. Let's see how it looks on a 3-day. Okay, on a 3-day, you see also that it's still riding on the 10-period average, and it's still showing a downtrend. And actually, it's moving down below that. So if you looked at this, you would say to yourself, well, it's probably a good idea to start selling because it's hit, and it's going to probably sell off. You kind of have to pick a time frame in which you want to trade. Whether it's a weekly, daily, or 3-day. This is a 3-day right here. And so if looking at this, you would say to yourself, well, we're still in a downtrend. And I pull back on the week, the 3-day, the 1-day, just get an over idea what the price or where the price action might be going. But I can't. It's hard for me to trade on that because I trade every day. I trade all the time, and for me to wait on a 3-day, that means I would literally have to wait weeks at a time to get a buying or selling signal. So it's a good idea to pick a time frame what you want to use and kind of stick with that time frame. Now let's see what it looks like on a daily. So on a daily, if you saw this, you've definitely hit up against a 25-period average, and this is what maybe some traders are doing now. They're pulling back further and further back and getting a better idea of the time frame. Now on a daily, I think you can do something on a daily time frame. You just have to wait a little bit longer. So on this chart analysis on Bitstamp on a daily, you'll see that it hit the 25-period average, and this actually hit the 25-period average. And so or 24 or whatever it is, I think it's 25-period average. So you see that it's hit the 25 period average, it's come back down, but now it could be, this 10 period average could be now a support, and you're going to probably see bouncing up here. So 400 is probably a range. So 350 to 400 is probably going to be a range for a while. At least, you know, what's happening is now the 10 period on the daily chart average, 1 day chart average, is showing now that the 10 period average line is now a support instead of a resistance because it's broken through. So now let's go back to the 12, and now that's pretty much what you're seeing. And then again, on the 12 period average, you're seeing now that this is the 10 period average line is now starting to become a support instead of a resistance, which it's been right here, here, and here, and definitely here. So there's been times where it shows a false buying signal, like when it's here but it's broken through, it comes up again and it breaks through down, slightly plays up here and goes down, slightly, you know, then goes down. This one never really had a support, just went up high and then broke down. But now you're seeing a little support here. If we stay above here on the 12 period average, or on a 12-hour chart, there's a good chance that you'll start seeing this flip over. So once this flip over, you can probably go back to a daily chart, and you'll probably see that this shows to be green, and then daily you'll obviously see now the challenges breaking through here. But again, like I said, if you go back on the 12-hour chart, what really helps is the high is higher than the previous high. So if you look at this, let's see here on this particular chart analysis, on a Bitstamp. Let me see. I'm just trying to figure out what the high is. Darn it. Okay, there it is. So the high was. Okay, let's see what the high was. The high was 395. So that's 395, and let's see what the previous high was. Okay. Previous high was 397, so it didn't 397, 395. So it didn't quite get there, close, but it has to be higher. Not only does it have to be higher, but it has to finish higher as well. So it didn't do that, so of course that's why you're probably seeing it go down. But now 395 is the last high, and so all this has to do is just go above 395. If this goes up and hits 400, now you're starting to see a shift in probably consensus and sentiment on where the price direction is going. It's going to be going up. If not, if the price falls below this 10 period average here on a 12-hour chart, you're probably going to see more down. You probably have to pull back on different time frames to get a positive confirmation of a sell-off. But at least you'll have a better, I guess, an early warning system to protect yourself from the price fluctuation. So you can protect yourself. In other words, I guess you can start shorting, but then you'll be causing the price fall, you know, in some ways. But anyways, I hope that helps in getting a better idea of chart analysis. You know, I've lost so much money learning all this stuff. I hope this helps you guys out, and that way you don't have to lose all your money or all your bitcoins or whatever, all your value, in learning how to trade on the chart analysis. So I definitely hope this helps, and that way you can you know, protect your assets and the value of your bitcoins or your money or whatever you're doing. And so there's a couple scenarios here. It has to finish higher than this last high right now. So this is the last high. So if it finishes up higher than that, you're back in an uptrend. If it breaks below this 10 period average, and I'm talking about on a 12-hour chart, so this is a 12-hour chart, If it falls below that, then you're looking for probably a retest of the 275. And if it breaks below this, then there's more, it's going to go down more. So right now we're just in consolidation mode where it's bounced back up, and then it's probably going to zigzag a while here, especially right here. It's zigzagging now. It's the weekend again. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully nothing will happen. There's so much drama going on over the weekends, last weekend. Hopefully this weekend will be a little calm. But you never know with Bitcoin because it trades 24 hours, 7 days a week, all the time, every time. Anyways, I hope this all helped you out. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, even a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.